All right, so
these nuts.
I was about to say. Highbrow comedy here.
Only the highest of brow.
Or the lowest of fruit.
So, on that note, welcome to the Average Adventuring Party podcast, where the bard instinctively doesn't trust anybody that doesn't start singing along when he plays Bohemian Rhapsody. I feel that's a pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good personality test.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to determine who in the audience doesn't have a soul.
Besides your patron?
Technically, she's got a soul.
Right now?
Eh.
Only technically.
All of you guys technically have multiple souls, so it makes up for it.
Fair.
So I'll take the lead on this one. I think last time these guys goofed up horribly, and the time before that, and the time before that, and the time.
Be a little more specific on which episode we're on, because
that was day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No.
So we're in Overlook, right?
No, we're not in Overlook.
Yep, you're back in Overlook. Nobody remembers anything. We're going to do this until you guys get it right.
Oh, fuck.
We're going to be here a while.
For 82. Click.
It's going to be Groundhog's Day until you guys get level 10. No. Someone, somehow, managed to totally sneak the obsidian statue off of the floating stoat into Ardith's backpack, and she has no idea what you're talking about. She was nowhere near that casino.
Mm-hmm. This thing, we've had it forever.
Oh, yeah. They did a little traveling and made their way to the dig site that housed or rather, they made their way to the dig site that was showing to be the location of the Earth Inheritor, Silon. When they got there, they made their way in. The walls collapsed the passageway behind them, stranding the dog Brave and Shannara on one side.
Oh yeah, we got a dog now.
And stranding these guys in a room full of thousands of kobolds. When they went to rescue Silon, he was strapped to a mysterious and strange altar that totally wasn't removing his powers for some nefarious purpose. At which point, all of the kobolds, minus a few unlucky ones who couldn't fly that well, flew out of this cavern, and these guys had a really neat battle against a horribly mutating drake. When it died, they cleared out the room, and Silon was freed from his cage, but promptly passed out. And that's where we'll pick up. So that's where you guys are, in this cavern. Silon, the boy, he looks to be fairly young, maybe 15, 16. Like I said, he's got greenish skin. He's got these rocky protrusions on his head that kind of mimic swept back hair. And he is likewise covered in tattoos. You met Talia a couple of times before, and her tattoos were very warrior-esque. So think like Polynesian or Maori style tattoos. Hers depicted her doing a lot of fighting and like channeling magics. Now that you've got Silon sitting in front of you, his are depicting him crafting things like swords and a couple of strange devices that you don't recognize, but you do recognize like armors and things like that. Working with dwarves quite a bit. They're these short, like stocky figures in these tattoos. But his wrists and ankles are basically slit open from where those dragon scale wrappings were wrapped around his hands and wrapped around his appendages and pulled tight. Mm-hmm. So he is quite quickly, he's not bleeding out, but he is quickly losing a lot of blood.
It's freaking dark in here, right?
Oh yeah, so overhead there is a gigantic crack in what would be the surface, and you can see straight up. It's got to be dinner time, maybe after dinner time at this point. So the sun is getting ready to set. So it is almost pitch black in here.
I cast a cantrip light. So we got a 30-foot radius of light.
Yeah.
Thank you.
From the other side of that, where the opening was that you guys came in, you hear a bunch of yelling from Shannara and a lot of barking.
Right. Can you hear me, Shannara? Galdrien is going to try to shout through the cracks in the rocks.
You hear her yell back, "Yeah, I can hear you, but it's dark, like really dark. The other side must have collapsed also."
Right. Well, we're okay, but we're going to need to clear this rubble. We managed to find the boy. Iocus, Suna. Can you two try to help clear this rock?
Yep.
I'm happy to. We need some medical know-how
Yeah, that's
over
your
here.
job.
Yes, I'm going to check on the boy. You all work on that.
We'll go over to the rock wall and start either trying to move or punch the wall. You know what I mean?
You gonna punch the wall?
They
Monk.
break rocks.
Okay.
Monk?
Galdrien's going to go over to Silent and check on him and check his vitals and.
Okay.
No. But because he's got the medical training background, so that's what he's going to focus on.
Yeah. Give me an intelligence check.
14.
14? Alright. You get him bound up. You clean his wounds, which these are very, very neat slices. And on his wrists and ankles now, he's got those cuts, basically from the top. If you would think of like a ribbon or a belt,
Mm-hmm.
he's got a cut on the top and bottom where they were, and then embedded in his skin are those scale patterns. You're able to get that bound up and cleaned, but he's not coming around. He also looks like he is beaten quite a bit. He's covered in bruises.
I'll probably just continue tending to him while they work on the wall, because
So while he's punching the wall, since I still have my contemplation going and I can sense tremors and echoes and stuff, can I find an area that's a little like thinner or looser or in the rocks that maybe I can direct him to punch?
He's basically at the thinnest point, which is to say where the sides of the tunnel collapsed inwards.
Okay.
I'll just roll for roll's sake. I don't break the wall.
No.
That's a 7.
We'll say that Iocus clears a lot of the dirt, like the loose stuff near the top, and it's to the point where with Ardith's light you can actually see in, and standing inside is a completely and entirely disheveled and dirty elf girl who...
Do you have your acid now that you can see?
I wouldn't. There's nowhere in here or out there for those fumes to vent.
There's a hole up here.
I wouldn't want to risk filling this side of the cave-in with...
Okay, I'll keep punching.
It's also why fire and explosions are off the table.
Oh. Yeah, good point. At which point you see Brave, basically a couple of paws, start scratching from his side. And you clear all that loose stuff, but there are still two or three massive rocks that you just can't move.
I mean,
Can they squeeze through yet? Like, is there enough?
No,
room?
there's maybe like a 6 or 8 inch gap at the top.
Can I give my potion of healing to Silent
Sure.
and administer it to him, since I figure that he probably needs that pretty quickly, so I'll go ahead and hand my item card back to you.
All right. So you take your potion, tilt his mouth, his head up and his mouth open, and pour it down his throat, and the wounds close, but they immediately scar. So he has even the dragon scale pattern just scars over. It does not look like it looks like it's healing, but it doesn't look like it's removing the wound. Like, he will always have evidence of it.
Mm-hmm. But it's not actively hurting him anymore, right?
Correct. His bruises fade, and he starts breathing a little bit easier. But he still looks like he's in pretty rough shape.
Yeah. I know that as an earth elemental, he would probably be able to help us out here. But I also know he's taking quite a beating, so I'm really just going to focus on trying to resuscitate him, or trying to revive him, bring him back from unconsciousness.
All right.
Since the punching's not working, I guess I'll actually use my other muscle and use my brain, and take my staff and try and use my staff as leverage against some of the larger boulders, and trying to actually roll it out of the way.
All right.
I'm going to use my nomad background on this, because I figure there's probably been more rock slides that we've had to move out of the way. Oh yeah, that's much better. What's strength, I guess?
Yeah, that's fine.
15, 18
right.
to try and leverage one out of the way.
Iocus eventually gets his staff in. We'll say it probably breaks the staff in the process, but you're able to pry one of these far enough away from the others that Shannara and Brave can squeeze through.
I have her spare staff now.
I gave him my spare.
All right.
Break a staff, get a staff.
You basically have a waist height stick.
Cool. I have a walking cane. I can dig it.
But when that falls back in, it jams the rocks together, and it is likely you are not getting out that way.
Okay.
Especially if there's one on the other side. Shannara...
You said they're still on the other side, though?
No, they climb through.
All right, sorry.
Shannara dusts herself off, and like a cloud of dust comes off of her, but she is still dirty. And she looks at Ardith and goes, "This is insufferable."
We'll let you clean up first chance we get.
I call dibs on all the hot water.
Okay, fine.
I mean, we can have Iocus toss you through the hole and you can run to the river.
It's probably 200 or 300 feet up there.
Oh.
Yeah, we're gonna have to actually climb out of here.
You want me to fly up and see if there's something I can tie a rope to?
Should we stay the night here, or...?
Well, if we go back outside, the Dreaming Dark is probably going to rip us to shreds.
Yeah, there's that.
I don't think we're going to be able to get anywhere before the sun goes down, so I think this might be where we camp for the night.
Well, if there were many kobolds here and a mutated dragon kind of thing, there might be other dangers, so we should also scout out this cave if we're going to stay here overnight.
There is actually something I'd like to look into here.
Can I sense or feel any tremors, echoes from a certain way? Movement? No?
No. I mean, no more than... You get... This is a fairly large room, or cavern. There are the bodies of the kobolds, and then there's that puddle of dragon stuff that was once attached to the altar, and then there's the altar.
Is there any ways, like other corridors?
So it's just one big room?
Yeah, this looks like, if you start examining the actual walls, like it was exhumed by claw or by hand.
Okay.
Iocus, if you don't mind, you see that altar there?
Mm-hmm.
If you could do me a favor and smash the ever-loving hell out of it.
I've already broken a good piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll go break the rest of it.
Yeah, you can take some time and just pull it apart. You have to be careful of the bones and the scales because they're particularly sharp, but yeah, you can stomp it to bits.
I'm good at breaking things.
Right.
Is there any kind of wood or tinder that I could start a campfire with? Or no?
No.
Broken staff.
Yeah, I was going to say. 2 pieces of wood.
Well,
You may and or may not have picked up an any terrain spell that might help with that.
On the bright side, there's no kobolds here.
Oh.
They're all just rampaging across the countryside. So,
well, I would like to look into this chamber a bit because during our previous time in this chamber, this is where we took Bayul and Bayul died when we rescued Silent, I believe. There was a tomb here that belonged to, I think it belonged to Ardith's, Ardith Dubray's significant other. I think this was where she was laid to rest. And I would like to try to locate that tomb. I think it was somewhere under the altar here. It would be easier if Silent were awake because he was the one, because he was able to move Earth. But I'd like to try to see if I can locate that area by just kind of digging through the dirt or anything like that.
So where that drake had burst up out of the ground, there's just a massive hole. Mm-hmm. And if you hop down in there, there are just bits and bobs from it, as well as just broken juts of dragon bone. But there doesn't appear to be any remains under here.
Okay.
Or rather, any non-draconic remains.
So there's no evidence that there's another chamber here anywhere.
Mm-mm.
If I had a daily open, I could do a rough map of the area, or get a sense of the area.
If Silent is an earth elemental or connected to the earth spirits, and he's very drained from this ordeal, there's a lot of loose dirt and stone around here. Why don't we create a loose cairn over him where he can still breathe and let his element help heal him? So if there's no objection, that's what Iocus is going to start doing.
From what Galdrien knows of Genasi, would that be would that track?
You, in your previous experience with Silent and Wolfswift and Talia, that was not the case. They're people, more or less. And each of them expressed a different ability with their chosen element.
Yeah, so I don't think that's going to help. Let's just focus on making him comfortable and setting up a camp and getting everyone
so
situated.
He's not an elemental?
He is, but I don't think he's... I don't think he draws strength from the earth, if that makes sense.
Okay.
He, biologically speaking, just like you or I, he just needs rest and medicine.
Okay. I don't know these things, so...
You know how to be an unhealth care provider.
Yes. Yes, I do specialize in that.
As time progresses, you can look up and see stars through that crack in the ceiling. It is clearly dark outside.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll take first watch if y'all want to get some rest.
Might be a good idea.
Who will take second? Because I do need some sleep.
I'll take second.
But who's on third?
No, who's on first?
How long does the light last?
It's a cantrip, so...
It's a cantrip, so it's up to an hour, since it's first.
Because once the light goes out, I can take watch because I can see.
Shinar says, well, no offense, but once the light goes out, we're in the dark.
No, I can see in the dark.
She holds up her cloak that's still got 5 slash marks in it. Says, that's not really my concern.
I'll take the pieces of my staff, and it's a large size staff because I was a big guy, and I'll try and break it into 8 little torches or what have you, and at least get some type of light burning.
And each of you should have just torches in your standard.
It's just cantrip was quicker than point out stuff.
Well, and I'd rather save our torches for as long as possible. So,
I mean, if you want to wake me up once an hour to recast, I can do that.
You want Ardith to be even grumpier?
No.
Maybe.
We might need those recoveries.
I imagine as part of our adventuring gear, we also have like flints and so.
No, that's also a cantrip.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is you just don't have anything to burn in here.
Yeah.
Unless you want to take your armor off and throw that on the fire.
Oh god.
I don't think we want to set linseed oil on fire.
You still have any of that bacon from the grease?
No.
No.
Okay.
Somebody took it all and gave it to the dog.
Brave just wags his tail.
He's a good dog.
That dog.
He's a good dog.
Wait a minute. You said there were thousands of kobolds around here. I'll start looking around, and I'll make a search if I need to with my nomad. But we've burned plenty of cow chips before. Poop makes a great fuel source.
Dry poop makes a great fuel source.
But is there any dried poop?
Now that you mention it, no. There's actually not anything like that at all.
This is
like
highly irregular.
Like there's not even. You would expect with that many creatures, you would expect like broken scales or bits of food or waste of any kind, and there's just not.
Do bones burn?
They do, but not very well.
At a very high temperature, and you also don't want to breathe that in.
We do have the torches, so maybe maybe we can use the staffs make like a kind of makeshift tiki torches.
All right.
What?
I would make us a shelter, but I don't have any daily slots left.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda, but didn't.
I know.
Yeah, Suna doesn't care about your convenience or comfort.
We were more worried about staying alive.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was almost dead.
Yeah, like we had multiple almost dead party members. And then there's Galdrien, who still finished the fight without losing any of his actual hit points.
We'll fix that. Don't worry.
Later, honey.
So
You heard it now. Hubris on this episode.
I mean, it is Galdrien.
well, there will be a bris of some kind. So Iocus takes first watch. Everyone else gets to sleep.
Giant snow pile.
As Iocus, the night wears on, you start getting uncomfortably warm. Like the ambient temperature of this cave is starting to go up. By the time, who is on second? Galdrien? By the time Galdrien wakes up, it's probably in the high 90s in here, if not higher. Everyone has pushed away from each other and are all actively just sweating.
Except me.
Except for Suna, who just doesn't care.
So we can get our stuff back?
Yes, you can gain your hit points, recoveries, and spell slots back. As Galdrien spends the first hour or so, he notices that the lighting is changing slightly. And you look up at the sky; it's still pitch black out there. You have the light of your torch that's kind of casting this very faint glow around your party, but off sort of over, like on the edges of this room, there's this vaguely red lighting. It starts getting a little bit brighter now that you're paying attention to it. It's getting a little bit brighter, and the room now has enough ambient red light in it that you can see without the torch.
All right. And then I'm going to look at my compass real quick.
You look at your compass, So the green dot is right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
So at the center. The blue dot is to the south. The yellow dot is to the southeast. And the red dot is to the northeast.
Okay, but not right next to me.
But it is right behind you. No. From what you recall before the last time you checked it, this is basically the same position things have been in, minus Silent.
Mm-hmm.
So you've been watching this phenomenon go on. It's well over 100 degrees now. It is stiflingly hot. Probably at some point just like give this great big sigh, and when you breathe in, you are met with the smell of sulfur. And just, I don't know if you've ever been to a hot springs, but sort of that bitter, acrid, gaseous smell. A lot like that. And then you start hearing voices in the tunnel.
Do I hear what language the voices are speaking?
Yes, they are speaking the common tongue. And after a moment, you can make out probably 10 distinct voices. And they're talking about logistics. There's someone bringing up the fact that they need food and water because traversing all these caves is just, it's taking up so much because it's so hot and uncomfortable. It's not feasible for them to carry that much because they have to stay mobile. They've got to move around. And when you look over at the collapsed tunnel, some figures just step through the rock. There's 1, 2, 3, there's 11 of them. They're all human. They're led by a woman in armor. She's got just like a ponytail pulled back, and it is like stuck wherever hair touches her. It just immediately sticks because she is covered in sweat and dirt. She's got a sword at her side, and there is a very similar looking man next to her. There's another man. He's got, we'll say, just a great big hammer. And then there's 8 guys in various armors and weapon loadouts. You recognize their armaments as Asonian, and they are just arguing amongst themselves about what's going on. When they step into the room, they immediately start just like stepping away from each other and checking the area.
They don't even seem to notice me, do they?
They don't seem to notice any of you.
Yeah, I get the feeling that they are ghosts.
What, they walk into the rock slide didn't tip you off?
Oh yeah.
But it was just the tip-off. Actually, I think that'll be the episode title.
Oh dear Lord.
Let's see. Episode 19. Those of you who were still asleep wake up, and you hear these voices clearly. From the other side of the chamber, we'll say like where the altar was, a figure passes through the wall, and you clearly recognize Ardith. And he walks up to the group. He is likewise, he looks a little bit different from the last time you saw him. His hair is kind of wild and unkempt and also just sticking to him. His armor is still pristine, and he's got his shield on his arm, like in the ready position. When he sees that group, he looks like he's about to draw a weapon, sees that it's them, and then just lets out a sigh and, brothers, so good to see you. I feared that when I was captured we had seen each other for the last time. And he, puts his shield down, walks up to the group, and starts shaking hands and handing out hugs as is appropriate. They look at him, and one of them goes, "Who's that with you? I don't recognize them." And Ardith points to Iocus. He goes, "This is Turbis." Points at Galdrien and says, "This is Zygen." Points at Ardith and says, "Brun." And points at Suna and says, "Fierin." We met escaping. At which point, those of you who are not standing, stand. These soldiers kind of regard you very warily. Like, none of them come over to greet you. At least one of them is just glaring at you. At which point, Ardith says, "I needed assistance escaping, and these four were more than kind enough to assist me. We freed quite a few of Kemet's slaves during the process, so I'm sure that will be another thorn in his side and buy us some time so that we can locate his chambers. I've also found amongst his artifacts and writings that I liberated during my escape a way to seal him away permanently." And everyone looks surprised for a moment, and he holds up a hand. "It's not going to be easy, but I think with all of us here we can do it." That woman just runs over to him and gives him a big kiss and kind of spins around. Says, I knew you could do it. I knew we would find a way. And he says, "Unfortunately, yes. It is not an easy price to pay, but it's one I'll pay gladly to make sure he doesn't trouble the world anymore." And he, pulls her close to him and gives her a hug, nods to the four of you as you're standing off to one side, just kind of gives you a nod. And then he pulls out a dagger and just stabs this lady in the ribs. She lets out a scream and just pushes him back and draws her sword, which starts humming. Ardith says, "Well, I had hoped that would be more successful." And just reaches over his shoulder, pulls out a spear, pulls his shield out. Amidst all the yelling, he just points his spear at those guys. And you four are compelled to draw your weapons and start attacking. Or in the case of Iocus, prepare lefty and righty.
What are they doing?
So I'm going to need you guys to go ahead and roll me some initiative.
Yeah, finally a good initiative roll.
Oh, not bad.
Oh,
Shit.
oh wow, brand new dice pays off right away, huh?
Yeah.
You're
Also,
welcome.
while they're doing that, can I use my Forgotten Draconic Library and see if the name Turbis means anything to me?
I will just tell you that it does not.
Okay, cool.
Does it mean anything to the two elves who have been through this before?
I'm pretty sure I've heard the name Zygen before.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure these were inheritors.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
You in your previous go-around, met basically the ruling leadership of the plant people, the Kijani, and you recognize all those names as the original inheritors.
That's what I thought.
Go ahead and make me them rolls if you haven't already, and keep it to yourself. Because I don't care, you're all going last.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but this seems like a good time for holy damage.
You're a good time for holy damage.
You're a good hole.
For damage.
I mean, on one hand, this is already predetermined. Sort of.
Give me Suna.
You guys go ahead and roll me initiative. And we'll start with Iocus.
26.
I don't like it. Suna.
18.
I don't like that either. Galdrien.
20.
Ardith.
26.
I don't like this. You guys knock it off. Alright, so
You might, but I'm not.
So we're going to go Ardith on 26 fast. Go Iocus on 26 slow. Let's see, who's next? So I'm going to try something a little different as far as running mooks go. Something I saw online, which is to say, instead of running each mook mob as independent guys, run it as one group with that number of attacks.
Benefit. It bleeds over damage whenever we're attacking them.
Well, that way you guys can expressly see groups, and I don't have to worry about moving any number of pieces around. I can just keep them all lumped together.
We could kill humies.
For a change. And I need one for Ardith.
Don't we have a green triangle die for that?
As he is apparently a sneaky stab in the back asshole. Make him that guy. Next to him is the woman he just stabbed.
Which really, really, really hurts when you know that she's his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this went just as well as the first time I saw this.
Galdrien and Ardith know this. Though you guys did just see them kiss.
Let's
before
see.
he stabbed her.
There is her, which is number 1. There are number 2 and 3 are guys that have weapons with shields. So we'll say one's got a hammer, one's got a sword. There's this guy, number 4. He has a greatsword and a bow. There's a couple of guys over here, a couple of guys over here. There's 4 in each group, and they have various hand weapons, so swords, axes, and bows as well. Our order is starts with Ardith.
Mm-hmm.
You may do whatever you want, but I will have some addendums to your actions. Which is to say, mechanically make the decisions, and then thematically, I will tell you what happens.
Just find a side. Let's go for group of mooks 7.
Okay. So you just
Sure, let's go get up in their faces.
just charge this handful of guys.
Mm-hmm.
What are you charging them?
$47.50.
Extra for mouth stuff.
You might end up with a knife in your ribs.
The player, not the character.
I mean, I assume Suna's going to ask that if Galdrien's going to end up with a knife in his ribs like that at some point. Okay, so I'm just going to roll an attack with stabby stabs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So, since you guys leveled up, just remember your attack bonus has gone up by 1 if you didn't already calculate it. Your damage dice also go up by 1, so you should be at 3d whatever.
Yeah, that was a 12.
Okay. So 12 total?
12 total.
Yep.
So I rolled a 5.
So Ardith starts launching herself at this group of guys, and as she does so, wherever her weapons hit, there's this trail of flame, and just sparks start throwing off of where it connects with shields or parries, alternatively.
Because of course you gave me fire.
Oh, you're the hothead.
Yeah, right.
Is there anything else you'd like to?
No.
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 Iocus.
Okay.
Iocus is gonna start off with Dance of the Mantis, as he
good
usually
old
wants to do.
Dantis.
The good old Dantis. He's gonna take a flying leaping kick at the stabby girlfriend.
Okay.
Well, the stabby girlfriend.
So when that happens, one of these guys just immediately steps in front of her
Okay, I
and
figured
intercepts you.
that would be the case, but
He shouts over his shoulder. We'll say he shouts, "Stay back!" and or shouts, "Stay back!" at Iocus, and then over his shoulder shouts, "Livia, find cover."
well, that's a 19 on the die. You know what? I'm gonna spend a key point and turn that to a nat 20.
Oh, yeah, son.
Nat 20. Hey.
Please, that 20 wasn't natural and you know it.
You can't prove it. Not to the system. Alright.
We have the recording.
I get 3d6 now. Plus 2 more d6 for Greeting Fist. And sure, we'll go ahead and gore them.
And then the gore will be separate.
Okay.
But go ahead and double that. So roll it twice.
That's
All I see is ones.
15. Does it double my strength on it?
No, just the dice.
Oh. That's 20, 32, 36, 38.
Damn.
Plus gore.
Mm-hmm.
46 plus 3 for my strength.
Nice.
49.
Oh my gosh.
Is he dead?
Yep. So
You woke me up from my beauty rest.
Is he dead again? Let me rephrase that.
this is number 2.
That was a key point well spent. Attack. Yes. Hit.
Okay.
Yes.
So as Iocus charges in, he basically brings his hands together in that clap the ears check, and when he does, these 2 gigantic stone fists just like one catches the guy on the shoulder and one catches the guy in the waist, and there's just a crunch as he basically bends in half and then falls over dead.
Got him.
Get him.
So is your move and your standard.
Oh yes. No, actually that was just my
Oh,
standard.
that was just the standard.
Because Dantus. So I will move and engage Livia.
All right. When you do that, the guy with the greatsword
I've made myself a target.
is basically going to try and distract you away from her,
Okay.
and is just going to swing this sword down.
Oh, my AC moved up.
That is a 24 versus AC.
That will hit.
Okay. He swings this greatsword down, and it feels like getting hit by a sword, you imagine, would.
Mm-hmm.
But just these huge chunks of stone start falling off of you instead, so you only take 3 damage.
All right.
And then he is going to try, basically what he's doing is just trying to push, like he's got the blade flat against you and is trying to push you away from Livia. This group of guys over here is going to start just running at Galdrien. Actually they're not. I'm going to keep them back here. They're all going to unlimber bows and start shooting at Galdrien. You got 4 attacks coming your way.
Okay.
I would just to say the first one, I don't think a 9 is going to hit.
No.
Second one,
Barely missed.
that is a 22.
That will hit.
That is a 10.
Nope.
And a 9.
Nope.
So
1 hit.
You're going to take 6 points of damage as all these guys start just loosing arrows in your direction. It feels like some of these arrows should have hit you, but there are gusts of wind that are just knocking them out of the way. And it is your turn.
Right. I'm going to get up in their faces.
There are a lot of cries of, here he comes, and they just drop bows and start pulling weapons.
Quick action. Song of Heroes. So everyone gets a +1.
Mm-hmm.
To all. Now this is a 3rd level, so this also provides a +1 bonus to saves.
Fancy.
And then Galdrien is going to stab at them with his sword.
From Hell's Heart, you stab at the...
Yeah. That's a 17 on the die. So that should be a 23 to hit.
That is a hit.
All right. So I'll go ahead and roll damage, and then I'll do the battle cry.
Yep.
Okay. So. There we go. So that's 16 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then the battle cry that Galdrien is going to use is Hang Tough. And because it was a natural odd roll, grant a nearby allied temporary hit points to my charisma modifier. So Iocus is going to get 4 temporary hit points.
All right.
Very nice. All right, Suna. So you saw Ardith rush in, Iocus rush in, Galdrien rush in.
Huh, we're all Russian.
Arithis seems to be standing in place, watching. He has got his spear and shield in hand in the ready position, but he looks like he is looking for an opening.
Suddenly a bull was in the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Better Russian than Stalin, I always say.
Okay.
Grammatically, that makes sense. Historically, I have questions. Suna, one other thing I forgot to mention was that, for all intents and purposes, you are now considered to be in a volcano. Oh, she turned to that page quick.
Lin in a hand. That's right, I'm going to keep up the Russian puns.
We prefer in a hurry puns. For the
is my staff considered a holy?
Your staff is not a holy symbol.
No? Okay.
Put some holes in it, maybe that will.
But Iocus break it in half.
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't want to do that. So what I want to do, we didn't upgrade to level 3.
Mm-hmm.
The spark.
Which is?
It's just a lightning damage.
What terrain?
It's my feet.
Oh, that's right.
My at will.
Okay.
But we didn't upgrade it. So if I hit, I don't know what damage I do. But, so I'm gonna attack.
There's that guy in the back that's...
I was gonna say, I'm gonna attack the guy there in the back that hasn't hit anybody yet.
Okay.
Oh, 20 on the die.
Damn.
Well, crit.
So that is a 27 versus PD.
Well, you don't need that. I'm just finding...
Because I looked through all the stuff I printed and I didn't find it. I don't know what it's under.
Spark. So it is a close quarter spell, at will, any terrain. One nearby or far away enemy. Oh, you just need the damage.
Yes.
Correct? 3d6 damage. So you will roll 6d6 damage.
60d6, nice.
Well, it was a D8.
Yes.
So it's now how many?
6. It is normally 3d6 plus wisdom.
3d6. Okay. But you said I'm going to do 6?
You're going to do 6d6 plus wisdom instead.
Can I borrow 2?
I guess. You had a thing about the DM touching your dice?
Well...
Put the hoodoo on it. Put the hoodoo on his...
I've already been rolling 2s. Like a streak of 1s and 2s.
Ooh. That's 12.
Which, listeners, I want you to be aware of the fact that Ray, before the game started, handed me a dice and was like, I don't like this dice. It doesn't look like the rest of my dice. I don't
like
want it. And now she just stole it back.
I'm just
and
borrowed.
rolled a 6 on it.
Borrowed. 12, 17, 20, 28.
20.
Plus wisdom?
Wisdom, yep.
So it'd be 35.
Your wisdom Not with the level.
Not with the
Wisdom.
level. Oh, so 27, 31.
31.
Third. Yeah. I thought that was.
That's a lot of damage.
What did that target?
The guy in the back.
The guy in the back.
I mean, what defense?
Mental
PD.
Oh, PD.
PD.
Okay.
PD. It hit his PD.
And hit his little PD.
His HP went down. PDQ.
And it was lightning damage.
You say that now.
Correct. Suna holds out her staff. Also, did you add the +1 damage for your magical staff?
I did not. So 32 damage.
Now he's dead.
No, now he's just pissed. So Suna holds out her staff to call down some lightning. And when she does, this gigantic tidal wave basically hits the guy back into a cave wall and just slams him into it and drops him to his knees.
I'm going to look around confused.
Hey, you're
'cause
playing Talia again.
That is not at all what I expected.
That is not the thing you expected?
No.
Ain't that a bitch?
I know. Hey, guys, I think my god is helping us. I got a new power.
I rock.
For the first time in forever, Suna is a caster who is not surrounded by enemies.
They're surrounded
You
by
still,
fire.
you still
Stay
have
back.
you still have a move and a minor.
Oh, minor. I'm doing the soothing forest for everybody. So, one nearby ally per point of wisdom.
That was not wisdom plus level.
I know, but it's 5. That's 5. Oh, plus me. So 4 plus 5.
Wait.
4 plus 1 because I'm plus me. There we go.
Her plus 4 others.
Which is
Welcome to the Average Adventuring Party podcast, where we have that hot accountancy action.
How does
Which-
math work?
Which now the targets gain 10 plus my wisdom modifier, so 14.
So,
14 temporary hit points.
are you giving them to Ardith as well?
probably because he's an ally and there's one more.
Sure.
Okay. So it's 14 temp.
Yep.
I'm sitting here with 18 extra hit points like, where was this 3
I
hours
was gonna
ago?
say.
Oh, God.
So
You were asleep 3 hours ago.
Suna likewise holds out her staff to call upon the soothing sounds and feelings of her forest, and each of you gets a small rain cloud above your heads that's just lightly misting upon you, and wherever it touches you, you feel better. Not quite as beaten up.
This is
You're a fire over here.
usually the rain clouds mean sadness, but this is a happy little cloud.
That guy that you hit
Yes.
is staggered. So number 3 is staggered, by
Okay.
the way. And he is gonna
Ardith is like,
he's gonna put his shield in front of him and just try to charge you into a wall.
Okay.
This will certainly go.
I'm sure it will hit me.
I hate this dice.
To jail with you.
That is a, let's see,
The 6.
that is a 13 versus AC.
Hey! I'm good because I got 14! 14!
You were squishy.
I know.
Uh,
So by 1 point.
so you still take some damage on a miss.
Oh, okay.
You take 3 points of damage on a miss as
That
he just
sucks.
rams into you
Don't
with his
forget
shield.
Yeah, I'm doing it out of the tent.
Livia. Let's see. Who is next to her?
me.
Ardith.
Mm,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, come on, bad dice, bad
Well,
dice.
the first thing she's going to do is try to disengage as per that knight's orders. I hate this dice too.
Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch.
At which point, she will open her mouth and start screaming, very similarly to how Galdrien casts some of his magics.
Oh, God. My brain.
This
has the brain.
this will be versus your mental defense.
Okay.
He's begging a bard.
Son of a whore. That is a 16 versus mental defense.
That actually hits.
So take 5 psychic damage, which you take full damage on this.
My brain. Okay.
And you now have a status effect.
Okay.
That status effect is anytime you target her, you take 10 psychic damage.
Okay.
Save ends.
Okay.
She lets loose this scream that just bores into your head, and she tries to push away from you, but you grab her and pull her back. This group of guys that's engaged with Ardith, they're going to try to stabify you. First one is a 19.
What's it against?
AC.
Okay, yeah.
That is 7, 22.
Yeah.
Higher and higher. So you're going to take 4 attacks. There's 24 damage.
Oh.
Oh.
As these guys are working in coordination, basically when you go to swing at one, someone will step in and block it, someone will grab your hand, and then another person will come under your arm and just cut you across the ribs or across the back.
I'm doing to them next.
Arithis is going to point his spear at the ground and just stab it into the ground. And he's going to be targeting that guy that's on Suna, which is that guy. That's pretty decent.
It's like the Sub-Zero move.
Okay, so he's going to take 6 plus 15 additional damage. Yeah. He sees that you've been slammed back against a wall, points his spear down, and just kneels and thrusts it into the ground. And when he does, a spear just juts out of the wall beside your head and impales that guy through the throat, killing him. He goes down gurgling.
Thank you, statue dude.
Iocus is grabbing onto Livia, and you feel a spear just on your shoulder, and he says,
"Such a spear I feel."
No, which is to say, you feel the shaft of it up against your shoulder.
Okay.
And he just tries to push you aside and says, "That one is mine," and he points it at Livia.
Okay.
He wants to kill his own girlfriend.
So he is now engaged with the rest of you. So that this die doesn't betray me in the hands of Ray, it is now the escalation die. It is round 2.
That was a productive round 1.
The escalation die is now at 1. Ardith.
Okay.
You have been all kinds of cut up. These guys seem to be working, like I said, in small unit tactics, and are fairly good at it.
Okay, hang on. Plus 2. Okay, I'm going to cast a lightning bolt on their asses.
So,
Is that a close quarter spell?
Yes.
okay.
Do you have a D3?
Just a d6 divided by 2.
Okay.
Yeah, 2.
So that's going to be 3 people out of that group.
Wait, what did you roll?
I rolled a 4.
So it'll be 2 people.
It's plus
Plus
1.
1.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, nearby enemies in a group or a rough line? Okay.
That is these guys. They are in fact in a group.
Get plus 1 to this from Galdrien.
Yeah, hang on. Okay, 9. Plus 5. That's 14. Plus
Me plus the escalation die.
16.
Versus?
Hit. PD.
16 versus PD hits.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna need a lot of D8s.
How many you need?
I need 7 total.
How many you got?
I've got
Wait.
4.
7.
I got 4 over
Yes!
What?
7.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Is that a 3rd level spell?
Yes, it
No,
is.
That's fine.
And it's a daily.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
But they made me mad.
Ride the lightning, suckers!
And you need to roll 1 more.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
you got
gonna need
2
to write.
8s.
I'm gonna need to write this down.
Yeah, so I'll add them up.
Okay.
So 16, 17, 18, 19, 25, 31 so far.
How many you roll again?
You need to roll 1 more.
It's a 2.
So 35,
37?
37.
Okay.
Thank you, baby.
Tired of these guys cutting on her, Ardith holds out her hands, and just this huge gout of flames incinerates all 4 of these guys to the bone.
There's your fireball.
Well, I had to add the elements, so it doesn't count. They look entirely surprised for a second before they are ashes, and armor, weapons, bits and pieces of them fall to the floor. Is there anything else you would like to do?
Yeah, sure.
We could move to engage.
I'm going to come help Galdrien.
Yep. Go running across the field with those last 2 guys.
Yeah.
Iocus.
I am going to use the Shadow Curtain against number 4, so it's not the I'm going to get stabbed if I stab a bitch. And I'm rolling against his mental defense. So this is going to be a 22 against his MD.
That hits.
Alright. So there's that. And this is the first time I'm hitting him. For 15 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And as a hit, the next attack against me, if it's a natural odd roll, he's taking the damage instead.
Okay. All right. You gonna stay engaged with those guys?
Oh yes.
Yeah, you give him.
I have a quick action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna use my breath weapon. Might as well.
Okay.
It's Dex versus PD. Gonna hit the same guy.
What is it? Is it only 1?
I'm not sure. Make a close quarters breath weapon attack using your highest ability score against 1 nearby enemy's PD.
Okay.
So, strength, dex, con, doesn't really matter. It's going to be 18, 19, 20. Plus level. 23 against his PD.
And escalation die on me.
Mm-hmm. He's already down.
Yeah.
You don't have to keep kicking him.
Yes, I do.
Yes, that will hit.
Alright, and that's going to be for 3 more d6.
Okay.
For 8 more damage. And I'm going to flip that over.
He is now staggered.
Nice to know. I think what survives that one.
Iocus opens his mouth to bellow, and when he does, just a cascade of stone chips and dirt just blow into this guy and start cutting him up.
Use that gritty feeling on the teeth. Ugh.
He's going to just charge out of this dust cloud and try and stab you with his great sword. It's a pretty great sword. That is a 24.
That will hit. Is it an even or an odd roll?
It is an even.
Ah, sad day.
No.
I was hoping.
You're going to take 14 damage
Okay.
as he just, like, there's this dust cloud, and then from out of the center of it, he comes charging with that sword just pointing straight at you and buries it right in your gut.
I will take 1 hit point of my actual hit points. Thank you for the temporaries.
Sure.
Those last 2 guys in that group over there, they are not going to back down. But one of the effects that they had going on is no longer in account. They're going to continue pressing against Galdrien.
That's my job.
Oh my. That is a 19 versus AC.
That hits.
And second attack, that is a 16 versus... No, wait. Yes, 16 versus AC.
Does not hit.
Okay, you're going to take 5 damage. They seem a little clumsy now that their tactics are not quite working. Since they don't have the same number, and they're going to try to disengage and get to Lydia. And they need a 12 or better, which they got. And they're going to try to shield her. It is Galdrien's turn, however.
Right. Galdrien is going to come up behind the guy that's on Iocus.
Uh-huh.
Or first, rolling to see if Song of Heroes continues, needing an 11 plus, 10 plus, because it's considered a save, and I have +1 to saves right now. Got 11 on the die, so we're good. +1 is still going, so that was my quick action. Need to roll for Elven Grace. See if I get another standard action, needing a 1. Got a 5, so nope. So move again, getting up to that group. Not the group, but the guy that Iocus is on.
That's the chick.
Okay.
The guy is the other one.
Yep.
All right, and then actually, I'm going to cast the spell Power Chord on that group. Targets 1d3 nearby enemies in a group.
Mm-hmm.
Targets both of them.
Okay.
So I roll the 3 on the die. Charisma plus level versus MD.
Right.
That is only a 13 versus MD.
That will hit.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well, it is a 3rd level spell. So
I mean, if you don't want it to hit.
They are taking 2d12. Of course, I rolled very badly on that dice, but they're taking 9 plus my charisma psychic damage, so they're taking 13 psychic damage. And an ally engaged with the target, which no one is engaged with the target with that group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Besides me?
Correct.
Okay. Gains advantage on their next attack against it, so that doesn't go off. But still, they take the psychic damage.
Right. So Galdrien steps around, hits a note on his lute, and when he does, this vortex of air just picks one of these guys up and throws him all the way up to the apex of the cave, and he falls back down just on his head and is dead.
Boom goes the dynamite.
All right, Suna.
Well, seeing as they're all in a group right there, I'm gonna go ahead and do ice shards. So I get to hit 1d3 nearby enemies.
That is 3.
Okay, so 3 enemies.
Whom are you targeting?
Who all's in that group?
So this is her.
Okay,
This is the guy with the big sword.
okay.
This is Ardith.
Uh-huh.
Oh, so there are only 3 left, actually.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it.
So that was the goal.
Sorry, I was thinking there was one more guy in here, but there is not.
Okay. Oh, 19 plus...
Plus escalation die, plus Galdrien, plus your thing.
So 19, 20, 21, 22.
Mm-hmm.
So 29 versus PD.
That is a hit on all of them.
Yeah.
2, 3, 5, 6. 6 damage.
Plus your
Plus my wisdom, so 10 damage. 10 cold
Plus
damage.
your 1 for your staff.
your staff.
Oh, 11 cold
Mhm.
damage.
So,
Or maybe cold damage. I don't know.
I mean, you are
Now
water,
I'm water, so...
so that would
you know.
still work.
that kills
It's raining ice.
the rest of those guys.
Hey, they were hot and sweaty.
Yeah. I mean, you're just helping.
Yeah.
And it was 11 damage.
Yes.
She's going to take some damage for the first time.
What, that dagger in the ribs didn't do it?
Oh, it did. That was icicles,
Yes. Ice shards.
ice shards. So Suna, curious to see what happens this time. One of those little rain clouds over Galdrien and Iocus and Ardith.
Yeah, I don't have mine anymore.
Basically, those start forming together, and just it starts raining harder, and then it becomes this rain of hail that pelts one of the guys down. Like he just takes a grapefruit-sized hail to the dome, and the others are likewise pelted with it. It is Livia's turn,
And boy, is she livid.
and boy is she livid indeed. Because now, I'm going to say she moves up and engages with Iocus and Galdrien, which gives her 2 valid targets for that same ability.
Can she reach us both?
You guys are on either side of her.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought I was on the other side.
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
she's over here.
She's
Yeah,
over there.
Yeah. 4 is
All right.
the dude.
She could probably engage with Ardith and Iocus.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. She'll do...
Although if she does that, then Ardith could actually intercept. if
Oh,
she tries
she's
to.
going to try to disengage first. Which she needs 11, 12, 13, which she got. So she's actually going to clear herself and do something else instead.
Ardith's over there, like. Just stab her.
Yeah, Galdrien, we'll say, is probably in the most immediate line of fire between her and Ardith, who, now that you're up close, like, he does seem to be using you guys as shields.
Mm-hmm.
So, 4 dice, rolled a 1. Horror is too good for you. Come up with an even worse insult. You
Not political. Not political.
you
Kemet?
Yeah, there we go.
She holds out her sword, which is humming, points it at Galdrien. He throws up a wall of air just in time to block this blast that comes from her sword. It hits this pocket of air you have created, and when it does so, it just is the most discordant, echoing, horrible, rending noise, just like someone had hit and broken all the strings on your lute at once. She is going to start cursing and say, Ardith, if you're good enough to do this, you can come out and fight. Stop hiding. He is instead going to try to kill that guy. Oh wow, you roll good when it's not against the party. That guy, what was staggered,
He's now dead.
is now dead. Ardith, like I said, she calls him out. He puts that spear and that shield in between him, and just gives this guy a quick thrust through the heart, pushes Galdrien and Iocus aside. Livia goes to aim her sword at him, and when she does, another blast comes out, and he just swats it away with his shield, throws his spear up in the air, grabs it, and then just hucks it, and it pins her to a wall, just through the heart. She starts coughing up blood, and kind of hangs her head down, her hair falls around her, and that's where we're going to cut the episode for tonight. So not all combat this time. Just mostly combat. Right, so these guys are all giving me the get on with it look. I don't have much to plug, just the usual.
Just the hole in her chest.
Yeah, just no, it's plugged.
True.
Don't remove the spear. That's what kills you. Not the
Giant spear sticking through your chest.
Yeah, not the amazing amount of trauma. That's not what gets you. It's removing it.
Which is also a giant amount of trauma.
Yeah. That's where we'll, like I said, that's where we'll leave off. You can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/average adventuring party. We've actually got some new content that's going up there for all of our $3 and up patrons, which is Stephanie here has done some really cute chibi art of all of our characters.
And you can watch me color them.
Yeah, you get to watch her. People like that kind of thing, right?
It was fun to watch. I enjoyed it.
There's also a very cute thank you image at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It just says thank you, now fuck off.
Galdrien showing his ass. Could it be?
That's what we need to do. Is like every time we release a bonus thing, it's just Galdrien with his pants like just a little bit lower. And then if we hit the $69 a month level, that's what you guys can get.
Mooned by Galdrien.
Do have commissioned art of Galdrien where he is sitting in the Gareth pose with his shirt open. So might see with the artist I commissioned for that and see if she's okay with that going up on the site.
We did Patreon. You can find us on Twitter at Average Party, Facebook at the AAP Podcast. we've got Discord. Our Discord is in the show notes. I think that's good enough for now.
Yeah.
These guys are still giving me that, like, get on with it, we want to know what happens face, so...
I mean, the elves kind of have an idea what happens. We've done this before.
I can control water now.
All I know is I hit a guy and he went smoosh.
Oh,
So-
yeah. I had a bunch of guys and they went...
So
She's
nothing's
got fire.
Yeah.
nothing's changed for Iocus, really.
I went smoosh a little better. Like, he...
Galdrien can blow smoke.
It seemed a little rocky to me.
Yeah.
Galdrien can always blow smoke up someone's ass.
I mean,
Is
But-
that what Ardith's into?
But only if they paid extra. All right.
Plug for the $69 Patreon tier.
That's all I got. Thanks, guys, for joining us, and we'll see y'all next time.